What are the 10 to 15 most important years of your financial life? What's going on, everyone? My name is Russ, and I'm just your typical everyday American. And in this video, man, I want to talk about the 10 to 15 most important financial years of your life. Okay, I remember being 18 years old and thinking that I had nothing but time. But fast forward 20 years later, and I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth, man. It truly does fly by. And although I was blessed to have been given the knowledge to be successful financially, like a knucklehead, I did not apply those principles at a young age. And I'm basically paying for it right now as a 38-year-old man. So the first thing that I really want to stress in this video is this, okay? The earlier you get your crap together, the better, okay? What are the most important financial years of your life? In my personal opinion, man, it is truly between 18 and 33. It's the first 10 to 15 years, okay? When you're on your own, paying your own bills, making your own decisions, how do you choose to spend that money? Do you blow it on food and clothes and cars and, what have you? Do you just simply stack it away in a low interest savings account in your bank? Or do you aggressively invest in the stock market? And I'll tell you what I did, okay? I lived paycheck to paycheck basically for those 15 years, man. And those 15 years consisted of about 7 years in the United States Army. Then I owned my own business and I worked a few other jobs after the military before landing myself in law enforcement at about the age of 32 years old. At the time when I finally got into law enforcement, I had one paid for vehicle, okay, which is obviously a depreciating value or a depreciating asset, and a couple of $1,000 in a savings account, right? Nothing fancy at all. And I had a moment when I realized that I was not getting any younger, bro. And I had a moment when I realized that I didn't have all the time in the world. Like, I'm almost at the halfway point of this race. And what do I have to show for it, right? As my body, starts to deteriorate, from the military, from just life, right? Life in general. And here's why those years are so important, okay? There's a little known secret that a lot of people don't talk about, okay? And it's called compounding interest. Now, if I would have invested only $100 a month for 15 years at 10% interest when I was 33 years old, I'd have $41,451.49 in a IRA. Let's just say that it's a Roth IRA. And what you need to understand about that is that that money is going to generate about $4,100 in interest, not including what you're paying on that or putting into that IRA account every month. You can do it. It's $100, dude. We're talking about two less Starbucks every single week, if you will. And you're investing in your future. Now imagine if you invested $250 a month for that same time period at an average rate of return of 10% interest until you were 33. You would have six figures, guys. You'd have six figures if you just put $250 a month in a Roth IRA with a 10% average rate of return, $103,622.04, man. And once again, it's only $250 a month. I'm sure that there is something that you could cut out in order to invest in your future. And that money's going to start showing you the compounding interest that I'm talking about, because $103,000 is generating over $10,000 in interest just for sitting in that bank. That means that at the end of that year, at that 10% rate, you're going to have $113,000, not to mention whatever you're putting in there every month or at the first of the year, what have you, okay? Now, right now, the most that you can contribute in a Roth IRA is up to $7,000 a year. And you divide that into 12 months, that's $583.33, okay? And I didn't say that it was going to be easy, right? But that's some of you guys' car payments, right? $583.33 a month. And I want you to imagine that from 18 to 33, you just buckled down and you were able to put that in that account every month for 15 years, man. At 10% average rate of return, you would have $241,640.67 in that Roth IRA, and that money would be generating a little over 24 grand a year just for sitting in that account, okay? And now you are really starting to see the effects of compounding interest, okay? At 20 years, that money is almost doubled at $442,719.36. That's almost $500,000 in that account for putting $583 a month in that account for 20 years. At 25 years, that is $773,555.93. Okay, at 10%, man, that money is making $77,000 a year just to sit in that account. That's what, a ton of people's annual income is. All right. At 30 years, if you were 18 and you did that until you were 48, you'd have over $1.3 million. You've invested a little over $209,000. You have $1.3 million. Okay? And you are a 48-year-old millionaire. And that's just if that's the only account that you had, the only IRA that you had, man. Imagine being in a position to do that in your company 401, right? Your 401k, your 401a, a deferred compensation that's through your employer, maybe even a traditional IRA if you're already maxing out those other things, man. At 48 years old, $1.3 million, and you know what that money's generating every year? $130 stinking $1,000. Now, I woke up at 33, and guess what I was missing out on? Because I didn't do those things. 41 grand, right? $103,000, $241,000, making $24,000 a year in interest just for sitting in that account. And 5 years from now, I'd have $500,000 in that account, and it would just continue to rise as the number gets bigger. Why? Because I did not have the discipline to think about tomorrow. Young people, I'm telling you right now, you've got to stop worrying about what everybody thinks. You've got to stop, thinking about all the materialistic things when you're that age, the cars, the clothes, going out to eat, etc., etc. And you have got to focus on the future, right? You got to focus on the future, man. I know that that's easier said than done because you can truly set yourself up for amazing success. So as you can see, the earlier you get started, the better. Now, that's not to say if you're 33 like I was with no investments in the stock market that you should just throw your hands up and whine about it, okay? I've been maxing out my Roth IRA since 2022, and I currently have $35,000 in that account, and my wife is also doing the same thing in hers, all right? And my personal investments in mine are about $26.5 thousand, which means that I've accrued about $8.5 grand over that time. And just for transparency, the max amount has changed from about $6,000 when I originally started the account in 2022. In 2023, it was $6.5 thousand. And in 23 and 24, it was $7,000. And I have maxed them out every year since, okay? And so that money at a 10% rate of return this year is going to accrue about $3.5 thousand, $3,500 this year as it sits in the bank. And then I will obviously put another $7 grand in there, and that money will start to build upon itself as we get down the road, man. It's an investment that is almost surely going to make you more money than simply putting that money in a low interest savings account that's getting you about 0.25%, just a regular savings account. Okay, so to put that in perspective, I will be 48 years old and I'll have the same numbers as the kid that did what I just said from 18 to 33 when he's 33, because he buckled down and was smart with his finances, okay? Now, I'm not saying that I won't still be sitting pretty daggone well, because I was able to get ahead of this thing before it was too late, which there really is no such thing as too late. But in order for me to be really, really comfortable, I kind of got it right in time. But that 33-year-old has 15 years on me, bro, and that is huge. Because that's almost 15 more years of building that compounding interest where that money is making money and making money and making money. It's just hand over foot, man. And I will never be able to catch up to that 18-year-old who hustles that way, man. But it's better late than never. The alternative is for you to do nothing and wake up at 65 years of age with nothing to your name, right? Nothing to leave your children and nothing to leave your grandchildren, nothing. And I personally don't like that alternative, man. So this is why I implore the younger generation to do this. Stop living paycheck to paycheck. Stop caring about what everybody thinks, okay? And invest in your future. You can set yourself up for tremendous success if you sacrifice on the front end. You'll have plenty of time to play on the back end, man. Both financially by finding good growth stock funds to invest in and refraining from putting yourselves in copious amounts of debt. You know, I'm in the midst of paying off my mortgage, and the goal is to have it completed 5 years into a 30-year fixed. And I can tell you that personally, it has been an absolute burden knowing that you owe the bank money and that they're collecting interest off of you. And it's not the bank's fault, right? It's nobody else's fault but myself for agreeing to the terms of the loan. And I do happen to have a good interest rate at 2.99%, but that's money coming out of my pocket. And that's one of the reasons that this will be the last loan I ever take out, man. It will be cash from now on. I'll never forget the time that I was stationed in Alaska, and I was paying a mortgage, and I purchased my home with the mindset of how much money am I making a month, and that was how I came to the idea of what I could afford every month, right? People do the same thing with their vehicles. 1 year of paying $1,500 a month in Alaska and never even thought about actually owning my home until after about 12 months, I finally looked at the amortization chart, and I had paid to the house about $5,000 in principal. The problem is that I had paid $18,000 in total, and 13% of that went to interest, and it made me sick to my stomach, man. And so, seriously, it's okay to rent until you can save up the cash. Don't let the banks get you like they got me. I love watching my money make money, man, right? I check my accounts very often, and I love to see that money make money. And where I'm at right now, I love seeing that mortgage get punished every month when I drop sometimes 5 times the mortgage at the principal. I like to visualize the banks banging on the tables when they see my money coming in, because they know that one of the sheep turned into a sheepdog, man. Not only does this benefit me in the long run, but it's how you build generational wealth for your children and their children. So listen, bro, it's hard work, okay? There's no sugarcoating this. There's no making it, easier than it is. It's difficult work. You got to lean into it like a good soldier and get it done, man. Don't feel sorry for yourself, okay? Don't blame anyone else. Man up. Get through the pain, because in the end, there will be peace, man. I've been working 65 to 75 hours a week for the past 4 years of my life playing catch up, man. And I keep telling myself it's just a season. It's just a season. And at the end of the day, it is your choice. But make no mistake, whether you fail or succeed, myself included, the only person that you can point to is the person in the mirror, man. And don't say that your boy didn't warn you, man. So if you've gotten anything from this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, man, and maybe send this to a friend that you think it might help out. Let me know where you are in your financial life right now, and maybe we can encourage one another to keep moving forward, man. Iron sharpens iron. And until we see each other again, make good decisions, because you already know the Lord is watching. Think about the future, because it will be here before you know it. And don't be afraid to work, man, because there is no one coming to save you. Until next time, my friends.